It's hard to say when the first whispers began, but they always surrounded Mary, a girl from Nazareth, today a bustling city in Israel, but then a modest town in Galilee. Born around 18 BCE to a couple named Joachim and Anne, both descendants of the House of David, Mary's early life was unremarkable to outsiders, but inside her home, stories of hope were shared. The mystery of her future was foretold in the way she grew up, quietly and obediently, yet always holding a sense of purpose unknown even to herself. Everything changed around the year 4 BCE, when Mary was likely only 14 or 15 years old. One day, as she sat in her home, the archangel Gabriel appeared to her. "Hail, full of grace, the Lord is with you," he said. Mary was perplexed. This was no ordinary greeting. Gabriel told her she would conceive a son through the Holy Spirit, and that son would be the long-awaited Messiah. Confusion mixed with fear. "How will this be, since I am a virgin?" she asked. But when the angel replied, she accepted it. Her response was simple: "Let it be done to me according to your word."
Historically, this event is placed just before 4 BCE, as we believe Jesus was born between 4 BCE and 6 BCE due to the reign of Herod the Great. Gabriel's message to Mary marks a pivotal moment in both Christian and Jewish eschatology.
Joseph, to whom she was betrothed, was a righteous man and a carpenter from Nazareth. When he learned of Mary's pregnancy, he considered quietly divorcing her to avoid public shame. But one night an angel appeared to him in a dream. "Do not fear to take Mary as your wife," the angel said, confirming that her child was of divine origin. Joseph stood by her, and they faced the rumors and skepticism of their village together. In 4 BCE, a decree from Caesar Augustus ordered a census, forcing Joseph and Mary to travel 90 miles from Nazareth to Bethlehem, Joseph's ancestral home. It was a harsh journey, and Mary was in the final stages of pregnancy. When they arrived, Bethlehem was crowded, and there was no room in the inns. Finally, they found shelter in a stable, likely a cave used to house animals. There, in the dim light and surrounded by livestock, Mary gave birth to Jesus. She wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger.
Bethlehem, a real town about 6 miles south of Jerusalem, is where this event is believed to have occurred. Today, you can visit the Church of the Nativity, which stands on the traditional site of Jesus' birth.
The birth wasn't quiet for long. Shepherds came, guided by angels. Later, wise men or magi travelled from the east, likely from Persia or Arabia, bearing gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But danger was close. King Herod, the Roman client king of Judea, grew paranoid about a prophecy of a new king. He ordered the massacre of all male infants in Bethlehem. But Joseph, warned in a dream, fled with Mary and Jesus to Egypt. The exact location in Egypt is debated, but they likely travelled along well-worn trade routes, arriving in Alexandria or another Jewish community around 4 BCE. For several years, the family lived as refugees in Egypt until Herod's death in 4 BCE. It was then safe to return to Nazareth, where Jesus grew up. Mary's life returned to some semblance of normalcy, raising Jesus and, according to tradition, other children she may have had with Joseph. The next recorded event in Mary's life happened when Jesus was 12 years old, around 8 CE. During the Passover pilgrimage to Jerusalem, Mary and Joseph lost track of him. After 3 anxious days, they found him in the temple, debating with the elders. "Why were you searching for me?" he asked. "Didn't you know I had to be in my Father's house?" Mary didn't understand fully, but she held those words close. Years passed, and around 2729 CE, Jesus began his public ministry. Mary reappeared during a wedding in Cana. They had run out of wine, a small disaster for the hosts. It was Mary who nudged Jesus, saying, "They have no wine." He performed his first miracle there, turning water into wine at her gentle request. It was an act that revealed the subtle yet significant influence Mary had. But as Jesus' fame grew, so did the danger. The religious leaders in Jerusalem, especially the Pharisees and Sadducees, began to see him as a threat. Mary watched often from the sidelines as the tension escalated. By 3033 CE, it reached its peak. Jesus was arrested by Roman soldiers in Gethsemane, tried by Pontius Pilate, and sentenced to crucifixion. Mary was there, standing at the foot of the cross on Golgotha, witnessing the unbearable. Tradition places this in 33 CE. Jesus, in one of his last acts, looked down from the cross and saw Mary and John, his beloved disciple. "Woman, behold your son," he said, and to John, "Behold your mother." He entrusted her to John's care, and from that moment, Mary lived under John's protection.
John's Gospel places Mary at the crucifixion, and according to early church tradition, she moved to Ephesus with John after the resurrection of Jesus.
Mary's final years were spent in quiet reflection. After Jesus' death and resurrection, she likely travelled to Ephesus in modern-day Turkey, where John had established a community of believers. The House of the Virgin Mary, a shrine near Ephesus, is said to be where she lived out her days. Tradition holds that Mary died between 41 and 50 CE, though there is no conclusive record of her death. According to the Catholic Church, Mary was assumed into heaven, body and soul. This belief is celebrated as the Feast of the Assumption on August 15th each year, a recognition of Mary's unique role as the mother of Jesus and her extraordinary faith. The Eastern Orthodox Church holds a similar belief, calling it the Dormition of the Theotokos, or the falling asleep of Mary.
Ephesus was an important city in early Christianity. Today, pilgrims visit the House of the Virgin Mary there, and the tomb of St. John is nearby. Though we can't confirm every detail, historical tradition places her final years in that region.
Mary lived a life of quiet yet profound influence. From her humble beginnings in Nazareth to her place at the centre of the greatest story ever told, her life was one of courage, faith, and steadfast love. The world remembers her not just as the mother of Jesus, but as a woman who, against all odds, played her part with quiet strength, leaving a legacy that transcends time. If you enjoyed this content, you may like this video on the entire history of Israel in less than 15 minutes.